Recording.
Recording.
Shush. Only I can sing.
Aww.
Just me and Craig. And Craig's not allowed to sing on the podcast.
You makes me want to put together some sort of a song where, it's got, like the cheat always had the, that little cheat song that they did. And you'd add in a voice line. We can make a song that adds in the voice line. Now recording. Because that's the only thing Craig actually says is now recording.
It's a remix of Not Recording.
Yes, it's the now recording remix.
Maybe when we get more fans.
Or somebody who actually makes music or anything of that nature. I remember 6 months ago or a year ago, we asked people to make us a new intro, and well, nobody ever responded. So fuck you guys.
They're the listeners, man. You can't yell at them.
Oh, my bad. I see this link you posted. What is this bullshit?
Oh, that's the topic for tonight, or the main topic.
Well, one of the topics, yeah.
Primary topic.
I'm pulling it up right now because it already seems like some garbage. I just read the main thing, and I'm like, oh no.
It's garbage, but I want to talk about something more interesting first.
Oh, all right.
So I had a chance to actually sit down and read the field guide to action and adventure, that G.I. Joe, Power Rangers, and Transformers crossover.
Yeah.
And looking at the table of contents of the book, okay, it starts off with basically what Essence 20 is, okay, and that's the RPG system that runs Renegade's Game Studios, the Essence 20 system. They use it for Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and My Little Pony. Okay.
Yeah, so you can have that massive crossover.
But any system, and I guess other people use Essence 20, it all works because the math is all the same.
Mm-hmm.
So in this book, which I have to say is a very great book, okay, because it does cover a lot of like, hey, Power Rangers are different. Here's how they're different. Here's how they can work with the G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe are different. They don't have these things. They're not superheroes. They're, they are superheroes, but they're not super powered superheroes.
Yeah.
They're not Transformers. And so it kind of spends the first good section of the book talking about how to cross over the character creation.
You're here. Hold on.
Hello, I'm Grumpy Mushroom Bruce.
Grumpy Mushroom Master?
That's what I heard too. I heard Grumpy Mushroom Master Bruce.
Okay.
Not the Grumpy Dungeon Master Bruce the Beer Bandit, which I think is your official title.
Yeah.
You just said Grumpy Mushroom Master Bruce, which I guess is a new character you're playing?
Potato.
Okay. Tomato.
Well, then I'm Grumpy...
Squash Master.
No, I'm the Grumpy Room Designer, Christopher, I guess. I can decorate your interior.
Well, this
and
went
who
off
are
the rails.
You?
Oh, right. We're still doing introductions. I'm the Grumpy Dungeon Master Jay because I don't have any clever titles. Oh, wait, the Grumpy Sudoku player, Jay.
Okay. I actually was out at my LGS this weekend playing games of Magic the Gathering, and some people were like, "Man, you're kind of grumpy all the time, aren't you?" It's like, I didn't call my whole thing Grumpy Dungeon Masters because I'm a cheery, peppy person, man.
Yep. Yeah, like, trust me, Grumpy Dungeon Masters was not the name I would have gone for at all with a podcast. You threw it out there, and I'm like, well, if it fits, wear it, I guess.
But yeah, if the shoe fits, it's probably mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I'm glad you're here, Bruce, because we got a really compelling topic tonight. But before we get into that, I'm going to talk about a recurring thing that I've been playing with recently, which is the Essence 20 system. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I recently discovered that there is a D20 system, which is kind of loosely based off of 5e, with some extra rule sets like homebrew rules that they made up that kind of go along with it. Most notably, the big thing that I've seen, and I think if I understand it correctly, it's like you roll a d20 plus another die, and that's your skill result. Okay? So you can have anywhere from like a d4 to a d12, and those dice can shift up and down depending on the situation.
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
The dice chain, basically.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. But the topic of it was, this book is called The Field Guide to Action and Adventure, the G.I. Joe, Power Rangers, and Transformers crossover source book. All right? And since you're an even older, grumpier person than us, you don't know who the Transformers are or G.I. Joe are. You know, you didn't grow up with them at all. Well, maybe you grew up with a G.I. Joe that was like the 2-foot action figure, you know, that they sold during World War II or whatever.
I'm sorry,
I'm the
Chris.
same age as Jay.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm sorry, Chris. He doesn't get to take my old man title from me. I'm older than Bruce is.
Nope. Bruce is here as the oldest.
Okay.
Because it's not about physical age and years. It's also about years and mileage on the body. And Bruce.
Okay, well, I got Jay beat on that.
I don't know.
20 years of rugby and hockey.
Yeah, I got a lot of war wounds from LARPing and sports. So
LARPing.
My sports were a little bit more harder.
Sure. I mean, I definitely didn't play football in school or anything growing up. Sure. Or wrestle.
Children.
You're talking to a rugby player, a football player, please, pads?
Yeah. Well, we didn't wear pads when wrestling either, but.
All right, children. Thank you.
Yeah. See, you started this. It's your fault.
Anyways,
it sounds like Chris is the old one now.
Yeah.
So the Renegade Game Studios is the people who made this Essence 20 system, and any Essence 20 game or any game designed for Essence 20 can work in tandem with the other systems. So this book is kind of basically a how-to guide on how to basically blend G.I. Joe, Power Rangers, and Transformers together. They all have unique differences. Like Power Rangers have the morphing grid, so they get power from that, while Transformers have Energon, so they get power from that. Where G.I. Joe don't have that, but they have certain
power of knowledge.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, it's called Yo-Jo. It's an ability that they can summon up during a scene to get buffs and whatnot.
So if you say, "Who wants a body massage?" you get like a power up.
Yeah, there are certain classes that do help people like that. And they actually do assign classes by roles, which I thought was interesting. Like, they literally want you to have a tank and a DPSer and support and all that. So I like that. It's a little bit more approachable from terminology standpoint. Yeah, defender, team leader, damage dealer, expert, and wild card.
Okay.
So for Transformers, they just have warrior, field commander, gunner, and scout, analyst, and scientist, and mode master for those roles. But what I thought was funny was for the Power Rangers, they assigned a color of a ranger to a different
pink
thing.
Ranger, Blue Ranger, Green Ranger.
So the damage dealers are pink and yellow.
Oh, okay.
The expert is a Blue Ranger, which kind of makes sense. Billy was the tech guy. The team leaders are always been black or red Rangers, respectively. And the newest Power Rangers movie miniseries that they have on Netflix.
Yeah, I actually liked it.
It was really good. Yeah, I actually watched it. Yeah, the Black Ranger was the team leader there. The Green Ranger is a defender, and the Wild Card is the White Ranger, which I thought was funny.
Nice. I got a question for you though. When it comes to death in the game, is it? I assume that they went with the idea that if you're playing a Power Ranger or a G.I. Joe, you actually can't die, but if you're playing a Transformer, you're probably fucked.
So here's the thing. All right, as I started going through this book, and I started off in the section of like, what is Essence 20 and how does it play? Okay, I need to find the exact page here and read it to you because it was quite hilarious. Okay, every Essence 20 core rulebook includes a chapter on character creation. These chapters assume that you're new to the system and are making your first Essence 20 character. Since Field Guide to Action Adventure is an expansion and not a core rulebook, it's safe to say if you're reading this, this isn't your first Essence 20 experience, so assuming you know the basics of creating an Essence 20 character. I have no idea how to create an Essence 20 character.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the rules. None of the character creation rules are in this book at all.
So
I thought they were.
So it's
but
not
they're
it's not a core rule book. It's a expansion book. Awesome.
It's an expansion book. So I am lacking where I don't know specifically, and everything I've had to get was just from gleaming what things are. But what was funny about that is they said this is not a core rulebook. This is an expansion. Okay, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, that was
Yeah.
I didn't know what the thing was, and I always saw the table of contents, and it says Essence 20 character creation, so I thought that would have been part of it. But whatever. I can find that crap online. I think there's a free starter kit. But chapter 4 of this book is Action Adventuring Game Masters. Okay?
All right.
And let me use my added attached ribbon to quickly jump to that section. Yes, these books come with ribbon because it's 2 cents to add it to a book, and they're not cheap like Hotsy.
Yeah, I own several gaming books I bought recently that have a ribbon or multiple ribbons if it's Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Yeah. So all of chapter 4, which is a pretty extensive section, it's about 50 pages of this book, is about what a GM is, why you should GM, and skills and tips on how to GM better.
All right.
So why would they not include the character creation rules if it's not a core rule book, but they could include what I would consider the basics of how to GM?
I know the answer to this.
Why?
Because knowing is only half the battle.
Dun, 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 dun.
You got your first half. You got your first half there, buddy.
So, what was actually interesting is it goes through the roles of the GM, how you have to be a narrator, an arbiter, an ally, a coach, and a world builder. It goes over different GM styles, whether you're a narrative or tactical or theatrical. There's a section here where they talk about the principles of good game mastering. And it says, no matter the GM style that you gravitate toward, you will face situations that you have to make a call. Some rules don't work with your group, some don't work in the moment. Whatever the case is, if the obstacle in the rules stalls your campaign, you have the authority to overrule it. Now, what do you think they call that power of being a GM? If you had to give that a term, what is it?
Absolutively.
Okay. Jay?
God.
Without looking it up, can you guys tell me what the word fiat is and what it means?
I know what fiat currency is, but I know there's also a fiat car.
No, I think it's spelling of a D, not a T.
Yeah,
No,
fiat is basically you have total control over something.
Right, I didn't know that. But it is FAIT. They call it the GM fiat.
Yeah.
So I thought that was neat. And they go over, the rule of cool, saying yes, how to prepare versus how to improvise, difficulties and adjusting sliders in the campaign, a little more specific stuff with how to balance an encounter out. It goes through this huge section about session zeros and how to work that, like what table etiquette should be, safety tools at your tables, campaign expectations.
So lots of actual useful stuff for new GMs.
Right. And the book that they refuse to tell you how to make a character.
Yeah. Seems a little weird, but they might just include that in every one of them. Like if you buy the G.I. Joe book, it might have that almost same type stuff in there. If you buy the Power Ranger ones, it probably has almost the same thing in there.
And what's interesting is I've read a couple how to GM books and how to things work, and there's very little, some of it is tailored a little bit towards their system for Essence 20. When they talk about how to scale up difficulty encounter, of course they're talking about their system.
Yeah.
But generally, it still works for core D&D too. Hey, if it's a 10, it's an average thing that you can do at any time. So just keep rolling with it. But this is actually I kind of read through most of it today, and I honestly think this is the best explanation of how to GM that I've ever read. Like, it covers a lot of stuff. It covers, like, the fact that, as a game master, you're pretty much the audience of the players for them, and they're kind of their own audience as well too. But if you're playing online or streaming your game, you have another audience to think about. And it even goes into tips and tricks on how to handle that.
Oh, that's cool.
So they cover so much about how to GM. Like, I'm kind of just like, I want to just take this out and like get a PDF of it. Like, this is how to GM. Read this.
There you go. Yeah, you can start teaching people how to game master by literally just quoting all that stuff verbatim. It sounds like
it was fantastically well wrote, and like, even the stuff like I said, I don't know how to create a character, and so the system is still kind of off to me. But there's still plenty of, like, they go through it in great detail on how to, handle all this stuff. So, plus the artwork's fantastic too.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and who doesn't like Transformers, GI Joe, and Power Rangers, especially when you can just and My Little Pony, especially when you can just run them all together and have Buttercup attacking Optimus Prime. Buttercup was Oh, wait, that's Powerpuff Girls. Never mind.
Yeah,
I literally can't name a single pony. Buttercup just sounded right.
There probably is a Buttercup pony.
Would you say, Brony?
Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, there you go.
The new ponies are. I don't know any of the new ponies, but I knew all the My Little Ponies Friendship is Magic ponies because
you have a young daughter. I mean,
she doesn't watch My Little Pony. I tried to get her into it. She was.
Don't worry, it'll change in about 5 or 6 more years.
I was throwing that out there as an excuse for you to have known who the ponies were, and you just ran right by it.
No, fuck that. Pink Pie is amazing. Fuck you.
I have a 17-year-old daughter, and she watched that from age 12 to 15. So
so you have an excuse.
I don't need an excuse. I'm happy with myself.
I'm
married with a kid. There's a difference. But yeah, I'm actually trying to put together a group to play it at my LGS, and I'll probably have to get more books now for it. But I think this is probably.
You should start with the core rulebook.
Which one? Because there's 3.
Well, you're a Transformers guy. Well, you like Power Rangers too, but I think Transformers is more your jam. But
Transformers is definitely more my jam. I like Power Rangers from a conceptual thing. Outside of the 1 or 2 seasons that I actually watched when I was younger, I was too old for it.
Yeah, that's fair. I watched the first season, maybe some of the second, and that was pretty much it.
So Bruce, I don't have a Howdy Doody RPG system, but if I find one, I'll let you know.
I don't even know where this came from, Bruce. He just started with this tonight. Yeah. I guess get the Transformers one and.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing, and those were my plans. And I had a very great weekend, just kind of goofing off and being a bachelor again because my wife and my daughter was out of town, so I got to read up on RPG systems and play Magic. So I was doing great.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
that's what I do most weekends.
Yay! Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went and played Magic Friday.
It's a scale of irresponsibility from Jay to me to Bruce.
Yep. And I am happy to be at the bottom of that.
Speaking of Magic, I heard that the Fallout.
Oh no! Don't! Oh God, he did it. He brought
the
up Fallout
Magic. One of the decks for the Mothman deck for the. There's some bad prints, and you're getting 2 of every card, and there's no lands.
I will be sleeving my deck later tonight. I will check and see what happens. There's been a couple issues with the commander decks from WotC. I mean,
because it's WotC.
Not because it's WotC.
That's in the favor of the person, though.
No, it's not because they're commander decks.
Well, I mean,
Some
who cares
some
about the lands? But you're getting 2 of every card that's supposed to be.
sometimes there are really expensive cards in commander decks.
Well, I think it's more like half the deck is missing, and they doubled up on half the deck.
Oh, okay. That probably would not be.
Yeah.
From the story I read, that you get every card that you're supposed to get 1 or 2 of, you get a double amount of it.
I mean, that would substantially not fit in the box.
Yeah, I'm thinking that wouldn't mathematically work because you're usually going to get 65 cards or so plus lands, and that
I
would
got a commander
effectively be
deck.
130 or 140 cards or whatever.
Yeah, I got a commander deck right here. It's about, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches tall. So if they doubled up the cards, it wouldn't fit in the packaging.
You're supposed to have what, 100 cards in a commander deck?
Right,
Mhm.
100 cards.
And how many of that's lands?
Probably about 30 to 35.
13. They're talking about base lands.
Oh, base lands, probably not many. It would depend on the deck, but if they're tricolor, no, it's going to be 13 to 15 probably.
Yeah. But
So,
yeah, regardless, it's still great that they're doing Fallout stuff. I love crossovers. Crossovers is where it's at. Multiverses are out, crossovers are in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even have this discussion on here.
So, Bruce, what's your favorite crossover? Is it when Captain Kangaroo showed up with Howdy Doody? That's 2 Howdy Doody jokes.
Yeah, you just killed yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who any of that is these days.
Is it when the Three Stooges met Frankenstein?
I'm waiting for Mr. Rogers. Okay, I'm waiting for Mr. Rogers.
When Mr. Rogers.
If you want me to buy a Magic crossover set, it has to have Mr. Rogers, it has to have Steve Irwin, and it has to have what was the painter? You know the guy.
Mr.
Ross.
Wizard.
Bob Ross, thank you. Yeah, and the Bob Ross crossovers. That's what I want right
Bob Ross. I
know
had
what?
some Bob Ross lands.
There were Bob Ross lands. That's true.
Huh?
If they made a Three Stooges Magic the Gathering deck, I'd be all over that.
Yeah, that's fair. I do love some Three Stooges.
So, getting on to the next topic, we've been talking about Magic the Gathering, and I know this is tabletop, but this is kind of in joint with that. There was a recent expo called the Dice Summit on March 1st, and the Hasbro CEO Chris Cocks was interviewed, and he was talking about how he wants to integrate AI technology into both Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. He was quoted in saying, "This is cutting-edge technology, and Hasbro is a 100-year-old company. When you talk about the richness of the lore and the depth of the brands, D&D has 50 years of content that we can mine. Literally thousands of adventures that we've created, probably tens of millions of words we own and can leverage. Magic the Gathering has been around for 35 years, more than 15,000 cards. We can use in something like that. We can leverage all of that to be able to build very interesting and compelling use cases for AI that can bring our characters to life. We can build tools that aid in content creation for users or create really interesting gamified scenarios around them." That was his direct quote. He followed up by saying that we are doing research and development efforts around AI. I think most major entertainment and IP holders are at least thinking about it. The key there is to be is the responsible use of it. We have an even higher bar we need to hit because we serve an audience of all ages. We go from preschoolers on up to adulthood. I don't think we can be very cavalier on how we think about AI. That said, it's exciting. There's lots of potential for delighting audiences. We need to make sure that we do it in a way that respects creators we work with, respects their works of art, respects their ownership of these works, and also creates a fun and safe environment for kids who might use it. Now, it was funny in this because the person who wrote this article, after quoting Chris Cocks, he wrote this piece. He said, Chris Cocks also claims that Hasbro is approaching his adoption carefully, but that didn't keep the excitement and hunger out of his words.
Yeah, I love the thing that the author says immediately after the quote. He's either unaware or careless of the fact that all of the largest AI generation tools only function thanks to a torrent of stolen and uncredited words, art, and other creative material fed into our algorithms.
Right. So on one hand, the outstanding problem with AI still exists. Who owns it? How are they making it? They're stealing from people. The list of 1,600 artists that Midjourney uses came out recently. I think we mentioned that, or I mentioned at least to you. There's a couple of people that I know that were on that list. So stealing other people's works to make AI work, that's an argument in and of itself. So, but if they were to in-house take everything that they owned, okay, let's say they take all of Gary Gygax's works,
Yes,
throw it into an AI generator, have it learn the Gygaxian method of creating a dungeon, could it reproduce a Gary Gygax dungeon that people would want to play?
probably.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
But
Now, if they use just their IP and just their data, and they take every dungeon that's ever been officially published, they throw it in this AI generator, and it cooks for a little bit, and they permutate it out a few times, and they get some people to work on it very smartly, and it comes up with their own adventure, and it's good, is that a bad thing?
Yes. Go ahead, Bruce.
Well, have you read the people who do the story for Magic the Gathering? AI could do it better.
I don't know what you're telling. Are you not looking forward to the Wild West outlaw setting, and then going off to Bloomborough and talking to the rats?
Well, I mean, that actually is kind of cool, but I mean, like, have you read the books or like the story things they released? They're pretty bad, and that's saying something. Like, I'd rather read one of those old D&D books from like the 80s that were like horrible.
I mean, I own most of those, and
But they were terrible.
Some of them are pretty bad. Yes, some of them are real hard to read. Some of them are very, very good. It just sort of depends on the author of the books.
I think a lot of it too comes to their development cycle, because they're writing. I don't want to say essentially fanfic. I want to give the writers credit where credit's due. They work on a very, very, very tight deadline, and they got to basically write it in like a draft or two and be done. There's no big thorough process, because every time they come out with a new set, like every 4 months, there's
Magic. Oh, it's like every month and a half or some shit nowadays.
Yeah, but there's always a story and storyline developed with it. So the speed in which they do that. Remember, they fired half the writers recently. Well,
they're going to do it all with AI in house.
Yeah, and maybe it'll be better.
If you use only the stuff that Wizards of the Coast owns the rights to, whether it be Gary Gygax's stuff, whether it be the current stuff, whatever they actually own, and that's the only information that's fed into the algorithm for the AI. You at least take out the moral quandary of, is this okay? On that front, at least.
Yeah.
It obviously it still isn't okay because of the fact that you no longer need to hire individual writers. You no longer have to actually hire employees. Other than a couple of people to type in the fucking AI.
That's the corporate American dream, is basically to be able to generate money from nothing.
Yes.
You're gonna as thing changes, as the world evolves and technology gets better, there's always going to be jobs that get lost. Okay, the creative field is, up until this point in the AI landscape, has always been something that's like, we're always going to need writers, we're always going to need artists, but they've been starving since the 1100s.
Oh yeah,
AD. It's not the best paying profession. You only get paid after you're dead for a couple centuries.
Right, but it is still paying.
Is it?
I mean, they don't do it for free, obviously.
I mean, yeah, but the starving artist as a stereotype is kind of on point. Anyways, there are people that make their living writing. So I will say, I've been using some AI stuff here and there, because it's new stuff and I like to play with it. The AI art generation, depending on what you go to, if you go to Midjourney, it's fucking scary how good it is. If you go to one of the cheap free ones, it's very AI, But like I've gone to Chat GPT and said, "Hey, give me a short story on this." 150 words. And it comes up with something pretty fast that's marginally passable. And I can't tell the difference between what is AI generated text or not. We spoke to that one publisher who said that he could find it really easily. He was very aware of it, so that's great. At least there are people out there that can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also used AI to generate monster stats for me. Okay? And I see it more as a shortcut to getting to what I need done. Because I can just go to, there's one website, I can say, hey, build me a brutish character with a sword and a shield that has a parry effect and hits 4 times a turn. And that's a CR8. And I will get that monster. And it'll be 70% there. And I have to do the rest of the legwork to clean it up, make it actually usable, make sure it's balanced and workable. So there's still a hand that I have in that to make it work. Okay, it just took the brunt work out of the back end math and the formatting essentially. So to get to the point where the AI is generating an entire dungeon with unique monsters and unique stats, probably not. I would love though to see the nightmare monster that gets created out of the ghost of the machine, but I am curious as to what they come up with and how it will work. I hope we're a decade away. That way I can die before it becomes real.
Probably not a decade, but you're looking 5 years out, I would guess, before this is fully implemented. But I definitely have a lot of problems with the utilization of AI, especially when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. But at the same time, there are always going to be companies out there who will not utilize it. And that is an entire market in its own.
Yeah.
I've talked to you recently about the sorcery card game, and that game has been doing quite well. Why? Because there's absolutely a market for real artwork, not CGI, not computer generated things of that nature. So if D&D goes 100% AI, which just throwing that out there, if it goes fully AI and that's the only thing writing dungeons and doing the art for it and everything, there will be a number of people, and it's probably a sizable portion, who will find other games. There's a lot of shit coming out very soon. You've got Daggerheart, which is the Critical Role game. You've got MCDM, Pathfinder still killing it. So
I think once that levy is broke, it won't stop.
No, once it's fully operational, it's just going to expand from there. But there's always going to be a market of people who won't touch that kind of stuff.
I think that market dies with us.
No, unlikely.
I think our children and our children's children will look back and go, "Hey, I got this new module. It's one of those old nostalgia things that a human wrote." It's like, "Oh, that's totally pinball, man." That's the new slang for awesome.
So just as a little bit of an example, I was hanging out with my 17-year-old cousin earlier today, and she's into nerdy stuff just like myself. And I have not introduced her to any of this stuff. This is stuff that she was interested in on her own, and she loves nostalgia. She likes the old stuff. She's not into the newfangled shit. She likes the old things. So there's always a portion of people who are going to be interested in things like that.
Yeah, you see it all the time. People, every generation seems to, when they get on the, they look back 2 generations, goes, I like this music, or I like these TV shows. My daughter is getting into like shit that I liked. I'm like, wow, I can't tell her I liked it because then it'd be bad. But she was playing a Limp Bizkit song the other day, and she was jamming out. I'm like, I started doing the lyrics. She goes, "You know this song?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, I used to break shit to this song.
It's the anthem of my childhood.
That's great. Yeah, definitely don't tell her you like it though. Yeah, there's always going to be people like that. We have a generation of people nowadays who are wanting to move to farms and get away from the city life. That are much younger than we are, specifically because that doesn't appeal to them. They want to go a little more old timey.
I would like Watsy to work on this project in the back. Stop talking about it 100%. Wait till it fades and it's just a whisper at the back of our skulls. And then release a module, an adventure that's 100% AI without telling anybody. Without
just come up with a pseudonym for the writer.
Yeah. Just come up with fake names for everybody. And then release it and see how it does. And if it's freaking amazing, then haha, we gotcha. If it sucks, then it's haha, we'll work on it again. And
haha, we fired that writer.
Yeah, ha, we fired that writer. We'll never work with him again. He did AI without telling us, and just
you have to make him a fake LinkedIn and everything.
Just you know what? Make it a real intern. Give him full credit, and then fire him. But like, I'm curious to see how it goes. But at the same time, like, if they are just using all their stuff and that moral quandary is gone, then that's great. I don't think that AI, at least, definitely not now. There's got to be some human element to it. And eventually, when the AI monster rears its other head and the Jabberwock screams and shouts, and we finally, slay it with a Vorpal sword or whatever, it's going to come back around that we're going to need people, like Lewis Clark, who can come up with these crazy, inane, fantastical things that have never been thought up before. And write in a language that's familiar but it's different, and kind of recreate the wheel, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Again, we need to fall down this AI rabbit hole and sink down to the bottom and then come back and see how it goes. But
it's going to happen. Like, AI is going to become the mainstream way of doing stuff at some point. So, I really and truly, I don't sweat it too much because it's not even me that I'm worried about. My time is passing as I get older, but whoever's following up, there's still always a percentage of people who will do things the other way.
There's one last statement in this article I wanted to read out. It said, Chris Cocks mentions that he also uses ChatGPT and the Shutter Bing image creator as tools for prepping the D&D campaigns he runs for his friends.
Okay.
So, it's clear he sees dungeon masterwork and the character creation and interactive maps as a friction point where Hasbro can conveniently posit their future generative AI tools, most likely for a price. So, he is a DM, and I envision that he's a DM that always gets stuck as being the lifelong DM because no one else wants a GM, and he hates doing it because he wants to play. So that's why he's trying to get AI to do everything for him. But I think he's rich enough that he can just pay someone to DM for him. Chris Cocks, this is an open invitation, buddy. I will run your games for you, free of charge, 100%. We could do it over Teams or Skype, or we'll do it over Teams since you like Microsoft so much. We'll do it over Teams. I won't stream it completely off the book. You just tell me when and where, buddy. Me and you. I'll DM for you, and it'll be great. You'll have a wonderful time, and I won't kill you like I killed my
wife again.
No, this time it was the Adventure League group.
Oh yeah, well that's normal. That's an every week thing. Your wife is like every 3 weeks.
Every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks, I just shoot her in the head. So, next topic.
So I linked.
No,
I dropped.
I have.
You have another topic? Okay.
So I killed my Adventure League group.
Oh, okay.
Again. Okay.
Again. So I have a lot of newer players in this group, and there's a couple other older players who are playing the characters and playing them like they don't know anything. They're having fun. Okay, let me say this. The Adventure League group is having a lot of fun. Okay? They spent at least 30 to 45 minutes after the store had closed outside of the store talking about what's going on in the game.
Awesome.
So they're very invested in the game. I don't want this to make it seem like they're hating on it or they're very bored or they're very disgruntled. They did TPK. I did roll back the encounter and let them do it again, because I told them straight up, like, hey, this is something that I'm practicing, and I'm trying to balance this out too. So if it's too hard, then I know it's too hard, and I'll get it back. This time, however, they died because they've never encountered a hag before.
Oh yeah, that's right. You wanted to talk about hags, so
So
here we go.
So we started off the session where the week prior they found a fairy that was answering questions for them and just kind of like giving them cool stuff. Like one dude got a +2 magic sword, because he gave some stuff to the fairy and was very nice. It's kind of also a trap too. If you accept the boon from the fairy, they tell you to drink from the little pond that's nearby, and it reduces your age. So you risk the potential of de-aging out of existence, But it was fun. So there, also one of the players stole from the fairies, so they polymorphed him into a chicken, and the rest of the group were sort of running away, like, okay, we're out. And so they left them behind, so they fed him the special waters and made the polymorph permanent. And then one player ran back to try to save him because he was kind of crying to his girlfriend, "Save me! You should save me! Don't you gotta save me?" And she got turned into a sheep. And then I returned them to the party, and I had a killer moose following them, eating all their foods. They were out of food, so they killed the players and ate them. So that was 2 weeks ago. So this week, they encountered the hag. And the hag has the killer moose trapped in a cage inside. They didn't know that at the time. But they encountered his house in the middle of the Feywild. One of my players cast attack magic, and I told her that the house is magical, and it is of the school of illusion magic. Okay? One player throws his hammer through the door, and it breaks. And I start introduce this character to them. It's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Victoria. Nice to meet you. I know you just destroyed my door, but I can fix that. I got food inside. Come on in." And
gotta stop accepting gifts from the Fae.
So she invites them in, and they talk about the killer moose for a little bit, how it's stealing the food. She said, "Oh, it's definitely that little small horrific child I have in the back cage. I'm going to kill it later." And I'm like, "Well, can I kill it now?" "Yeah, you absolutely can kill it now if you want to. Go on, right, and pull it outside and kill it." And she feeds them. They talk a little bit about the adventure. I give them some lore drops because she's a hag. She knows stuff,
Yep.
She's luring them in. So they decide to go to sleep. And they leave one person up, who's an elf, for the first watch. So the hag goes to bed, quote unquote.
Uh-huh.
Then the fire genasi is up for the second watch. Well, fire genasis can be put to sleep through magical means. So I put that player to sleep. She's got her nighttime dream attack. She does it. It's a critical hit. 48 damage on a level 4 character.
Oh no.
He's dead. I then hide the body because it's an illusion house. I can do that. The rest of the party comes out, and she is like, "Oh, I know how you guys are cursed. It was that killer moose thing. It cursed you. Your friend is on a walk outside. Don't worry, everything's fine." Cast a level 6 sleep. Put 3 of the players to sleep. One runs away. She then walks around, murders the elf, because she, was the only person
can't sleep him.
and got put
or
to
her.
sleep. Murdered the rest of the people, and the other people that were awake ran away, and the hag eventually hunted them down and killed them before they got home. So that one hag, who I did increase the CR. It was a dusk hag, I believe, that I used because there were 9 players at the table.
Yeah,
and I was
that's
pretty
fair.
sure they could go through 89 hit points.
If they actually got a fight.
So we roll back time to the hammer flying through the door, and we have the situation again.
You should have done like they do in Brindlewood Bay. So if you kill off a character in Brindlewood Bay, they have what's called go to commercial. That as the DM, you can go to commercial and you have one of your players describe and act out a commercial, like a TV commercial, and then you come back and redo the scene.
I'll remember that for next time. And
Yep.
there will be a next time.
Yeah, it'll be this Wednesday.
This Wednesday, they're going to be fighting the first iterations of the Shadow Kobolds, so we'll see what happens.
I would recreate a Mentos commercial.
Mentos, fresh.
I would do a double mint commercial.
I love it.
So then it comes back and they start doing the encounter again, and I was like, "Hey guys, do you guys know what the signature spell for a hag is? Do you know what the signature spell for a hag is?
Signature spell for a hag?
Mm-hmm. What they're known for casting in a straight line to hit everybody.
Well, yeah, that depends on the hag, but yes, that is one of the main type of hag you will see is lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hit it with lightning bolt, and had the fight go on, and I think I took out another one player because he was level 1. I was like, dude, you should be level 3. He was like, oh, I just hadn't leveled up yet. So you're dead.
Yeah, you haven't leveled up twice.
So we kind of go through that, and it was a tough fight for them, but it was the appropriate CR. Just the hag did what a hag does, and killed them without them knowing. And
I'm looking at the Dusk Hag right now. 98 for the sleep. That's a lot. Because normally it's not even close to that. And the Nightmare Touch is. You actually must have rolled really well.
Nightmare Touch did. Yeah, I rolled really well. It was a crit.
Because the mid. Oh, okay, crit. Yeah, because the mid damage is like 28.
And if they're unconscious.
Yeah, well, even with the unconscious, the mid damage would be 28 points.
Yeah. So you double that for a crit, 50.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So killed them all. And eventually they were able to drop the illusion and found out that they weren't in a nice little cottage. They were actually in this old, decrepit, rundown manor and stuff like that. So, and what was different was in the first time I told them that the house was made of illusion. And before the players went to sleep, one of the players said straight up, is like, I have something that I could use right now to figure out whether or not this is really going to go bad for us. But I'm just not going to do it. And that was the paladin casting Detect Good and Evil.
Yeah, if you're not sure, you should probably cast that. Even though paladins don't actually cast spells, they only use it for smite.
So in the follow up, he actually did it right out of the gate, and was like, "Oh, she's a fae. This house was illusion. This is enough time for us to go. No, that something's not right here. Oh, the ground is desecrated. Oh shit, something's up. Be
on your guard."
So if he would have cast it, I'm not saying it was that player's fault or anything. I'm just saying that if he would have cast it, I think that the TPK would not have happened.
Probably not.
Because they knew they were in an illusionary house. This lady knew way too much specific information about them. Because that's what a hag does. They invade your dreams from 1,000 miles away and learn everything about you.
Yeah. But that would have been one less smite that he would have had.
He's playing the same kind of paladin you are, or the fire-based one.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Well, the one I'm playing is in Solasta. I think that's straight from Solasta. I don't think it's actually a.
no, he's got like burning hands and all that.
Yeah, there may be a variant of it. So, or
Um,
hell, for all I know, it might be the same thing.
oh shit! Something I skipped over, and this goes back to what we were talking about with the AI generated content.
Oh,
Real
okay.
quick.
Sorry, we had to rewind.
Did you guys see the campaign that NASA put out?
I haven't looked at it, but
Nope.
I saw the article.
Yeah, so they kind of made their own 5e compatible tabletop adventure about saving the Hubble Space Telescope, and like this weird like time travel story.
Okay.
It's really well done. Like I'm designed by Christina Mitchell. I need to get in touch with her and see if she can't want to come on the podcast to talk about it. But I kind of looked at it, man. It is fantastic. It's got amazing drawings in it. You kind of go back in time to this place called Aldastron to save the Hubble telescope. Sorry, it's you kind of go back in time, but it's also like you go to another world that's also very similar to Earth that the Hubble telescope could see, or something like that. And it's just, it's really, really, really cool. It's in our chat log on our Discord. If you want to look at the link, it's free to download and use.
I'm looking. I'm actually kind of flipping through it right now.
Well, that makes sense because when you're looking through a telescope, you're looking at things that happened in the past anyway. So.
Oh wow. Okay, it's actually. I was thinking it was going to be like 4 or 5 pages, but no, just the normal thing is 40, around like 40 pages. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a complete adventure. I believe it's 3 to 8, right?
I didn't see. That's awesome. I'm gonna add that. I'll download it and add it to my my Wendy's equivalent. It's designed for a party of 4 to 7, level 7 to 10 characters.
7 to 10. That's what it was.
Ooh.
Yeah. They say approximately 3 to 4 hours. So it's a one night, a one shot thing for some relatively high level.
7 to 10 is a one shot? No.
Well, it says 3 to 4 hours. So.
It'll take a couple sessions. But yeah, that was really cool. Like, props to NASA.
Yeah.
You've been hiding the Earth is flat from all of us. Doing a great job with that.
And now you're definitely not going to get her on the podcast.
What, man? The Earth is flat. The Hubble telescope's not real. The Arctic wall it's an Arctic wall, not the end of the world.
You weirdo. You believe in the Earth.
Gaia.
Yep.
If you sail around Antarctica, you can't sail around it. It's just a giant ice wall. Blah.
We're playing Civilization.
Yeah, everybody knows that this planet is held up by a giant turtle that floats around through space. We all know this.
You ever watch an episode of Doctor Who where London was moved? Shut up.
Yes.
London was moving to the back of a giant space whale, and that's how they've been living for like a billion years. And the space whale was dying, so they were shocking it back to life and torturing it.
Yeah, I've already talked about the Discworld RPG, I think, last week, so I'm not going to talk about it again. But
okay.
All right. Well, I think that's actually all the topics that I had to discuss today. So you can talk about the one thing you brought.
Oh, my turn or Jay's turn?
I had multiple things, but we can go ahead and do Bruce's thing. I can save my shit for next week. That's fine.
All right, guys, it's draft time.
All right, what are we drafting this week? Because Waples wasn't here last time we did this.
All right, drafting D&D campaign settings all time.
There's not a lot of those.
Yeah, there is.
All right.
I still don't understand. What are the rules? What am I doing?
All right, so it's like a fantasy draft.
He doesn't know anything about
What's
any
a
of that.
fantasy draft?
Okay, so a baseball draft.
What's a baseball draft?
Okay. How about when you're playing sports and you pick teams? Once you get picked, you're picked.
Try again, Bodo.
Okay. Magic the Gathering draft. You want to pick the best cards.
There you go.
So I'm not just pulling rares and dipping?
No, you're actually as if though you wanted to actually win.
Who wants to win on draft night?
Okay, so it's not hard. We're only doing. Each of us are getting 3 picks. It's snake draft order. Whoever goes first, then it goes second and third,
Wait,
and third goes
snake
again.
draft?
I'll lead the way. Don't worry.
Okay. So the way this is going to work, Chris, since I know you know nothing about any of this, you know less about this than you do about Harry Potter. Bruce is going to get the first pick. You can have the second pick. I'll take the third pick, but then I'm going to get the fourth pick, and then you're going to get the fifth pick, and then Bruce will get the sixth, and then he'll get the seventh. You'll get the eighth, and then I'll get the last pick.
And there you go.
That's what a snake draft is?
Yes.
I think it's much easier just to take a card and pass the pack to the left, and then to the right.
Yeah.
All right, so I got first pick, and I'm gonna take Dragonlance right off the board.
You son of a bitch.
Yep.
I'm gonna take Forgotten Realms.
All right.
That didn't even make my top 3.
It's the only one I know.
Okay, well, I'm definitely taking the number 1 D&D pick for all campaigns, and that's Dark Sun.
No, Dragonlance beats it, but just barely.
My number 2 pick would be Dragonlance, obviously. Shit, are there any other settings?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch.
Oh, my next pick would be Ravenloft.
Oh, you bitch!
Uh-huh.
All right, Eberron.
You can have it.
Oh, Eberron's great, man.
Again, I'm only picking things that I know.
Yeah.
All right, for my second pick, I'm gonna take Greyhawk.
Damn it.
And then
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I'm gonna go with for my last pick.
Yep, you're running out of them.
No, I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna go with Miss Stara.
Oh, okay. So you're bringing it back to basic D&D.
That's right, bitch. It was either that or Planescape.
Yeah, Planescape is a fantastic choice.
That's Forgotten Realms, though.
No, it is not. It is Planescape.
No, it is not.
Planescape is its own thing.
Yep. Well, it's my turn next, right?
No, it's I get the last pick. So yes, your turn.
Humblewood.
Humblewood. Okay, that's a solid pick. I know how much you love that setting.
I'm just picking the ones I know.
Yeah, but you enjoy the setting. I mean, you've talked about it enough on here, like 4 or 5 different podcasts. I think we've talked about it.
Just wait till Burrowwood comes out, man.
So for my last pick and the last pick of the draft, I'm going to go really old school and go with Blackmore.
Ooh, man. If there was another round, I'd take Council of Worms.
Yeah, that's also a good one. Birthright would have been a solid choice as well.
Oh, yeah.
I should have grabbed Shadowmoor.
I don't think Shadowmoor's a 5e setting or a D&D setting. Sorry.
No, but there is. Where is it?
I mean, there's Magic the Gathering, which I guess
there's Ghost Walk.
What the fuck is Ghost Walk?
It came out the same year as Eberron.
Really?
Yeah.
Ghost Walk is a role-playing game source book.
All right, so what's the next step?
That's it. We're done.
That's the draft.
And then you talk to your fans about, hey, listen to our draft. Did we get it right? Would you have drafted something else? Get some interaction.
Right.
But who wins?
Well, I don't know.
For the fans to decide who has the better team.
Ah, there it is.
Oh.
So you get to put up the post tonight.
No, you got to. It's your job.
I'm not going to remember.
I don't have to.
I'm not going to remember to ask anybody about it. No, I'll try to remember. That way I can throw it in there and see if I actually get anybody to say, well, this is a much better setting choice, or you're stupid for picking this.
I'm surprised that you didn't go with Conan. Conan came out in 1984 of Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean, there's plenty of other settings. Like Chris could have easily have picked Diablo because I know how much
Yeah.
he loves
Wait.
Diablo.
So I could pick other things that weren't like officially like I thought Humblewood would be a stretch because
No, it Humblewood is under the 5e banner. Like it is kind of a stretch, but
Diablo's not even like a 5e setting. It's
Diablo is
3.5.
actually Diablo
Yeah, it
is
came out in
actually,
1999 by Buddy.
yeah, but it was released by
Dungeons and
TSR.
Dragons.
Yeah, it's an official setting.
I don't know how much I agree with that, but all right, whatever you say.
I mean, I can buy the
I
book.
mean,
It's an official setting.
Spelljammer, Hollow World.
Nobody's gonna pick Spelljammer.
See, when I said Forgotten Realms, I included all of that.
But that's not. They're separate. They were separate first. 5e just appropriated them.
Yeah, I mean,
Look, I'll give you
according to you,
Dragonlance. I'd give you Greyhawk even, but when spelljamming ships are being landing in Waterdeep on a constant basis in 5e, you can't say Spelljammer is a separate setting than Forgotten Realms as a whole.
But it was originally a separate thing.
if I can buy a book on it,
But you said 5e D&D.
No, I didn't. I said
no,
D&D.
right.
he said D&D.
That's how I narrowed my scope.
I said
But-
D&D, and I said all time.
I mean,
Well, I'm making an argument for my people who will side with me.
I mean, you don't know any settings that aren't 5e anyway. So
So my settings, when I said Forgotten Realms, Ravenloft is separate. Okay, that's obvious.
no, you can get there from Forgotten Realms.
No, you can't.
Yes, yes, you can. That's official lore. That's
No.
been written for a long time.
Technically, when they bring in
Ravenloft setting.
when they bring in Magic the Gathering, you could plane walk to any of them.
Yep.
So I was at my LGS this weekend, and there was a girl who was just getting into Magic because her boyfriend was in Magic, and she wanted to buy some of the Fallout sets. And she was looking at all the different sets and boxes and whatnot because she's the first time she was in the store.
Yeah, no idea what to buy.
Yeah, no idea what to buy, and she eventually found that one of her favorite artists had done some alternate art cards for Phyrexia, and she liked all the metal and machine looks, so she was buying Phyrexia packs. But she's like, man, there's a lot of Ravnica on the ball. A lot of Ravnica sets. It's like, yeah, Ravnica's probably not the biggest set, and it's a D&D campaign setting too. She's like, oh, that's amazing. So I should have said Ravnica.
I thought about it and I was like, why would I pick that when there's way better settings?
Yeah, way better.
Oh,
Forgotten Realms didn't make. It's not even in my top 3.
Mine either.
I was just picking things that I knew, man.
No, I know. That's
Well,
I'm
next
trying
time
best.
I'll make a list and I'll give everyone what the topic is so you can do all the research.
Yeah. So normally that's what you do when you do any sort of a fantasy draft is you have a little bit of time to do some research. Last time we did worst spells, was it, Bruce?
Yeah, worst spells.
Yeah. So next time you're on, we need to do best spells.
Ooh.
And I'm still going to pick Silvery Barbs, even though I picked it for worst spells.
I'll say best spells 3rd level.
Okay. Fireball and Lightning Bolt are number 1 and 2. Goes down.
No, Fireball is all the answers for
Slow is a very good spell.
No, it's Fireball. It's always Fireball.
Yeah.
Just Fireball. Just Fireball. It's just Fireball.
So speaking
Fireball.
of Silvery Barbs,
it's Fireball.
So I actually got to play D&D this weekend for a short game. We had to create characters and everything. I talked about what I was going to do last week on the podcast.
Yeah.
Me being the piece of shit that I am, but I decided not to do that to him. And I'm glad I did. I struggled not making just a piece of shit broke ass character. So I did make the wizard, however, and I do have Silvery Barbs. And I'm not going to talk about the backstory of the character, and for very specific reasons. I don't want to give anything away to any of the other players. But when it came time to pick spells, I made sure I had at least a combat spell as a cantrip, and I had at least a combat spell as a first level stuff. Every other spell in my spell book I rolled for randomly. And every morning when this character wakes up, I roll randomly to see what spells he has memorized. So this is
Are you playing the bad wizard from Crawl?
maybe. No, the idea behind it is the character. He is super hyper focused on spells. He wants to collect every single spell in existence, and he wants to use them all. So every day he's just like going to memorize a random set of spells, and hopefully I get a combat spell every morning. Yeah, you never know. We'll see. I will say that through rolling randomly, I did not have magic missile, and I did not have armor, and I did not have shield. So, yeah, this we'll
If
see
you
how
really
long.
want to one up it, you should just roll randomly which spell that he casts when he casts them.
Yeah, hey, don't tempt me. Why the fuck are you casting magic script in a fight? It's got to
I
be
really
cast
want to read.
sometime.
So pretty.
You just put words over him like Batman style. Zap.
Yeah, yeah, there it is. Here, read this for me. God damn it, I'm getting attacked.
Ouch.
Yeah, I think I ended up with illusory script. I did end up with 2 combat spells. I got chromatic orb and I got grease. So I'm not completely useless.
You're completely useless.
And that's the name of the podcast.
Completely useless. Actually, that's not bad. I've been looking for. I
Not
always look.
completely.
Yeah, the hardest part of this podcast is me coming up with a damn title for each episode.
You know, you're supposed to go to like SOE tools and like look at, you know, what the topic is and punch it in and find, you know, the appropriate tags.
Yeah,
and words
that's
to use.
adorable. That's adorable.
Level
If I was doing that, I would just I would put in Matt Mercer's name in every single episode.
That's actually honestly what the title should be. Matt Mercer's name in every single episode.
The next draft is feet.
Actually, I like that. Matt Mercer's name in every single episode.
Matt Mercer can't name our episode title.
I'm actually taking notes, so I'll remember this.
Matt Mercer's notes.
All right. Well,
How to Matt Mercer, a grumpy dungeon guide to Matt Mercer.
I'll save my other topic for next week's podcast. Give me
Elder
that.
Brain Tarrasque.
Yes, we will discuss that next week.
All right.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. Thanks for joining us, Bruce. I know you got to get off to La La Land here shortly, so
I still don't
No
understand
problem.
this draft and what the ultimate purpose of it was, other than just like if we were fighting it out now, like with characters that existed in it, it would make sense. I don't know.
you're thinking like super fight.
Yeah.
Hey, we could totally do that.
It's just good content, the interaction with your fans that listen.
Yeah, we could totally do that next time. We could do a draft for CR 10 monsters.
Well,
and then we could have a super fight with them.
so
Yeah, you could.
just in the discussion I had earlier today, Ming Subu is the best commander in all of, or best planeswalker in all of Magic the Gathering, so I think I win automatically.
Which one? The one you like, the stupid dog thing?
No, Ming Subu.
Oh, makes him boo. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's
Yeah,
not
so
the
I
it's
win.
not the greatest ever, but it is.
He's
pretty
only
good.
in Forgotten Realms, so I win.
Strahd
No, Minsk could kill Strahd.
and the god sorcerers or Dark Sun. Jay's got a pretty good squad here.
Yeah, dude,
Listen.
they're all dude. Every one of them is like fucking level 20 wizard, level 20 clerics.
Yeah, and I got Minsk and Boo.
Cool story.
No
I
one
think I
could kill Minsk.
I have
And
Raceland, right?
Yeah, fucking Raceland.
And the original what's her name?
You got
The witch?
Fistantalis. Yeah, you dude. You got you have Tasha.
No,
I mean, actually,
Forgotten Realms.
with Greyhawk, dude, you've got Luke Gygax.
That's right.
You've got Melf.
You guys are in trouble.
I mean, hey, but Waples has Dristu Urden.
Well,
Yeah, I got
he
plot armor.
loses.
Dritz is now a planeswalking
No, he's not a
Demigod.
planeswalker, right? They didn't make him a planeswalker.
he probably. Well, no, the card
They
is
made him
not.
a legend. I think he's just a legendary creature.
No, I'm saying in the books he's now omniscient and all present and AO's bottom hand.
But he's stuck in Forgotten Realms, so he can't leave.
All right, guys.
But we can.
I also have Spelljammers to fly wherever I want. So
no, you don't. You didn't choose
Spelljammer. Stick him on a Spelljammer and fly him over to your shit.
Nerd fight over. Bye, Craig.
Bye, Craig.
I have Craig.